Spring has finally arrived and we can't wait to get on the road again. But what route are we going to take back east this year? This has been a trip in the making for the last 3 years. Hopefully this time it will be a go. And we've decided on a route. We actually decided last year what the route would be. And it is not this one. It's this one, Route 6, or as John says, we're going to get our kicks on half of 66. I actually think 6 is going to be much more interesting. Goes through lots of small towns. According to the book we picked up, this one, it says it's the longest transcontinental highway in America, although I think Route 20 actually is now. But Route 6 originally started in Long Beach, California, which is just north of us, and ended in Provincetown, Massachusetts. Now it starts officially in Bishop, which is just a few miles away from the Laws Railroad Museum. So you may remember me mentioning this route last year in that video. And US 6 goes all the way from Bishop, California to Provincetown, Massachusetts. That would be a neat road trip. So we've got the book. I think I've read it cover to cover. It's backwards for us though, but there's just lots of interesting things to see and do along the way. Travel is always more memorable when you fill it with stories, and that's what I want to do on this trip. I want to fill it with lots of stories, mostly our family history stories, because some of you may remember I started this channel so that I could learn how to edit video to incorporate family history in a way that family would actually want to learn about their history. So I'm going to try to throw that in here and there along the route, but obviously it's not going to be the dominant feature of the videos. And I wanted to start this in Long Beach, which is no longer the official start, but there is a plaque in Long Beach because I have family history in Long Beach. I had 2 great aunts that lived in Long Beach during the 1933 earthquake. Our son was down a few weeks ago, and I asked him if he would go to Long Beach with me because I wanted to show him the historic building that his great-great-aunt used to own, and also share some of the information that I had learned from my great-aunts about the earthquake. Now, some of that information is coming from a letter that I found in my stash of family documents, a letter that my oldest great-aunt wrote in 1934, talking a little bit about the earthquake and what it did to her finances and the building that she owned. My other great-aunt was married to the mayor of Long Beach at the time, and he's often referred to as the earthquake mayor. So in order to put this together in something that I thought would be more interesting, I went to the Long Beach Historical Society last week and did some research, collected some documents and also some photographs of the earthquake, as well as one of my great-aunt's husband, because I did not have any photographs of him. So this is our trip to Long Beach and the start of what will be our summer adventure. At 5:54 p.m. on March 10, 1933, a 6.4 earthquake struck the Long Beach area along the 54-mile Newport-Inglewood Fault. 150 people were killed and damages were estimated at $50 million in 1933 dollars. But the lasting legacy of the quake was a result of the 70 schools that were destroyed. Within 1 month, the California legislature passed the Field Act, setting higher building standards for new schools and retrofits for older schools. Okay, here's my boy and chauffeur.
Best chauffeur you've ever had.
I don't know. John's pretty good.
No. No. Like, do we go left here or right?
Turn that blinker off.
What?
It's a gorgeous day today after a storm. building my great aunt owned. Her name was Abby. My grandmother had 8 sisters and 2 brothers, and 3 of them, I think, ended up moving from New York because they were from Seneca Falls out to the West Coast. Aunt Abby owned this big 7 stories brick building. It survived the earthquake, but they took on some damage and it caused all the tenants to leave. This year marks the centennial of the St. Regis apartment homes, one of the reinforced buildings that withstood the earthquake and stands proud today along the Pacific coast. My great aunt and her husband may have been the original owners, as I know they lived there in 1924. After perusing hundreds of earthquake photos, I was unable to find any of the building. The only record I have is a letter that my great aunt wrote to her family in December 1933. She said, "The day of the earthquake, I was upon Easy Street, had permanent tenants and had my apartments all redecorated. $1,500 and the last of the bills were paid in the morning of March 10. At 5:50, the apartment walls were cracked, dishes and furniture ruined, tenants gone. All had to be done over before I could rent anything, and the tremors did not ease, so no tenants came. I am in Laguna Beach for a month until January 5. I have worried so much and was so tired I could not sleep. The doctor ordered a rest, or he said I would have a nervous breakdown. Believe the quake has left everyone very nervous, and the quakes have not ceased. Feel as though we lived upon a volcano." She died in April 1934. Our next stop was just a short distance down Ocean Boulevard to find the commemorative plaque marking the western end of US 6. The plaque was dedicated May 3, 1953. It took us a little while to find it because I hadn't brought the book with me. Or maybe I was stalling a little, sharing this gorgeous day with our son. We have walked all the way around this place and you just found it, right over here. Okay. Not only that, but they've covered it up with a palm tree. That's not very nice. What we need is for someone to write a song like Route 66. If they made a great song, then we could bring the glory back to US 6. Hiding it back here. Grand Army of the Republic Highway US 6. Now we can start our trip in a month.